Chatty. The technology behind it may be a work in progress, and their physical presentations might look kind of uncanny, like we said, but both the robots and scientists who created them say they could offer potential help in a range of fields. Joining us now to help us understand this wild new world is Justin Daniels. He's a data privacy advisor and the author of Data Reimagined, Building Trust One Bite at a Time. Justin, I've gotten to look at these robots, and it's a motley crew. They expressed some strong statements, and it's uncertain just how scripted their responses were. How was this presentation received by folks in your industry?
Well, I don't know if that second robot on the skit looked like Vince Gill from Motley Crue, but having said that, I think the way it's being received in the industry is you have a wide variety of stakeholders with varying degrees of optimism and skepticism with this new technology. I think one of the robots in that segment pointed it out pretty well by saying, this is a really interesting new technology, but at the same time, we need to proceed kind of cautiously because there's a lot of room for the law of unintended consequences, much as we've seen with social media and some of the prior innovation. And now comes AI, which is once again outpacing our ability to comprehend what are some of the consequences, along with potential regulation. For the next couple of years, it's likely to be a free-for-all with consequences that remain to be seen.
You said outpacing, and I think that was a part of the reporting. The technology is outpacing regulation a bit here. According to the AP, this summit was where the presentation happened was meant to showcase the capabilities, but also the limitations of robotics and how those technologies could help the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Did they achieve this? What were you able to glean from this presentation and what you saw here?
I think what I gleaned from it is a demonstration of how quickly technology is evolving at a horsepower that is always faster than we anticipate. And at the same time, in your earlier segment that talked about the really hot summers that we're having, once again, you have to think about how is this latest technology going to put pressure on government and society, which is also already been under enormous pressure from things like global warming, other kinds of political unrest. And now you're going to overlay this AI technology over it. It really will make for an interesting few years to see how governments are going to react to that with everything else on their plate. Yeah.
You know, I along with several of my contemporaries, have had plenty to joke about with these robots, how they were presented, their design, things of the like. But, you know, the presentation was meant to show, you know, just how this technology can be used to solve some really serious issues, right? What are some of the benefits of these bots that we may not be considering right away?
I think some of the benefits of these bots, depending upon how they're programmed, is, for example, maybe they're able to work with physicians and they're able to, with their vast store of knowledge, come up with insights that when coupled with the human physician are able to help figure out how to cure cancer or terrible diseases much more rapidly, because you're augmenting what we already know how to do with something that is able to assess and evaluate vast stores of knowledge and gain insights that may come slower to us. But then you couple that with the ability and experience of doctors, there could be some real promise just in the healthcare field to begin with.
If you have the time, I'd like for us to look into the future for just a moment. Some of these robots express some ambition for what they think they can do. When do you think we will see robots like these in action, in person, and outside of just a showcase or a press conference?
You're asking me for my crystal ball. So
go ahead, Justin. Let's see it.
Yes, I'll be my crystal ball. I think the best that I can say is it will happen sooner than we anticipate, but take longer than we think in the near future. And the real issue is going to be, how do we as a society start to really adapt to all this innovation that's coming at us so quickly when we live in governments and democracies that are slow with their pace to figure out, how do we regulate this? How do we put guardrails around this? We've seen it time and time again. And that, to me, over the next 5 to 7 years is really going to be interesting, because until we have kind of guardrails, it's going to be a bit of a free-for-all with AI, and you're going to see some good and you're going to see some not good.
Yeah. Well said. Justin Daniels, thank you so much for joining us and helping us try to understand all of this. We appreciate it.
Doing my best.
Aren't we all?